The Curse of the Wolf Moon. Part 2. In the months following the battle, Kazumori was a village of mourning. The villagers honored the brave souls who had fallen, building a shrine at the base of the mountain where the samurai had last stood against the werewolves. Hiroshi was revered as a hero, but his spirit grew heavy with the weight of those he had lost. Every night he found himself haunted by the hollow cries of the wolves and the faces of his fallen comrades. But strange things began to happen. Villagers would whisper of dark shadows slinking through the forests and eerie eyes glinting from the trees at night. Livestock went missing, and a creeping fear spread as news of fresh claw marks and shredded carcasses appeared near the mountain. Then, as the wolf moon rose, an unsettling feeling settled over the village. Hiroshi gathered the remaining samurai, those too young or inexperienced to have fought in the first battle, and began training them with relentless fervor. Each night, the howls drew closer, until the villagers could hear them just beyond the tree line. Fear gnawed at their hearts as they realized that the werewolves were returning, and this time, their vengeance would be unforgiving. As the wolf moon hung full and low in the sky, casting a sickly glow over the village, Hiroshi and his warriors prepared for battle once more. They forged their swords from silver, reinforced their armor, and prepared traps around the village's perimeter. They knew they were outnumbered, but they had no choice. They would stand and fight or die protecting their people. The first sign of attack came with a low growl rumbling through the air, followed by the crunch of snow under heavy paws. A dozen werewolves emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing, fangs bared. The sight was more terrible than before. These werewolves were larger, as if some dark curse had twisted them into monstrous forms, their muscles rippling under matted fur. Hiroshi led the charge, his silver blade flashing under the moonlight. The warriors met the beasts in a deadly clash, their battle cries mingling with snarls and howls. Blood soaked the ground as samurai and werewolf alike fell in a brutal dance of death. Hiroshi faced a werewolf unlike any other he had seen, a creature with black fur streaked with white, eyes of fierce crimson. It was the Alpha, a primal force filled with an insatiable bloodlust. The beast lunged at Hiroshi, who barely dodged, feeling the razor-sharp claws graze his armor. Summoning all his strength, Hiroshi struck at the Alpha, his blade cutting deep into the werewolf's side. The creature howled in fury, striking back with a blow that sent Hiroshi sprawling to the ground. The other werewolves closed in, forming a circle around him as he struggled to rise. But before they could attack, a piercing scream shattered the night air. It was Kaede, Hiroshi's young daughter, who had hidden nearby, defying her father's orders to stay behind. She held a talisman high, an ancient relic that had been passed down through generations of their clan, said to have been blessed by the forest spirits. As Kaede chanted words she barely knew, the werewolves recoiled, their bodies trembling as an unseen force radiated from the talisman. The beasts staggered, clutching their heads in agony. The Alpha roared in defiance, lunging at Kaede with murderous intent. Hiroshi, fueled by a father's love, found strength in his limbs once more. He threw himself in front of Kaede, plunging his silver blade into the Alpha's heart. The beast let out a terrible scream, its body convulsing as the curse that bound it began to unravel. The werewolf's form shifted, twisting into that of a man, a gaunt figure with sorrowful eyes. With his last breath, the man spoke. "The curse will never end," he rasped, his voice hollow. "This land is bound to the blood of the wolf, and its cycle will continue until the spirit of the beast is laid to rest." With that, he collapsed, his body disintegrating into ash that scattered on the wind. The remaining werewolves, weakened and disoriented, retreated into the forest, leaving behind a quiet stillness that felt like an uneasy truce. Hiroshi looked down at the talisman in Kaede's hands, realizing its power and its connection to the curse that bound the land. They had won this battle, but the war against the curse was far from over. They would have to seek out the origin of the curse and unravel the mystery that bound Kazumori to the werewolves, or the village would be doomed to suffer the wrath of the wolf